Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa. Well, if you are a huge curling fan, as I am, you recognize the name Anne Merklinger. She is also an accomplished swimmer, and she is also the CEO of Own the Podium, and she joins us on Daytime Ottawa here today. Anne, welcome to the show. Wonderful to have you here. And I know that so many of our viewers have heard about Own the Podium, but just as a reminder and as an introduction to some of our viewers, tell us a little bit about Own the Podium.
Well, thanks, Derek. On the Podium's primary mandate is to help Canada's athletes and coaches win medals at the Olympic and Paralympic Games, summer and winter. So we were created back in 2005 when Canada won the bid to host the 2010 Games in Vancouver, Whistler. And it was really a legacy from the hosting of the Games that On the Podium has been sustained right through till 2022.
I think something that has sustained Canadians throughout the pandemic as well, Anne, is the power of sport. And whether you're involved in sport, as a participant or you're watching sport, it does have an incredible amount of impact on people. Tell us a little bit about that power of sport and the impact it can have on individuals.
Well, to think that Canada's both the Canadian Olympic and Paralympic teams, summer and winter, have survived 2 years of a pandemic, and they went on to Tokyo and had our best ever performance in the Olympic Games. And here we are again, once again in Beijing for the Winter Paralympic Games, and Canada's athletes and coaches are continuing to win medals. So we have witnessed firsthand, ever since 2010, the power of sport to Canadians. We are a different, prouder, stronger, more united country after hosting the games in 2010, all because of the power of sport. Sport has the power to unite our country, to unite Canadians, and to unite the world. And we are witnessing that real time today.
Yeah, and you have achieved in your competitive life, and the top of your sport. To get to that amount of excellence in sport, what does it take from an athlete, Anne?
Well, these athletes that are representing our country at all levels have dedicated often 10, 12, 15 years of their life to pursue their athletic goal, to pursue a chance to represent our country in the Olympic and Paralympic Games. Certainly what happens with every games is that we come back from the games with a whole new generation of role models, people that can inspire young Canadians to be more physically active, inspire them to pursue their own Olympic podium or their own podium performance. That can be biking 5K or running 1K, swimming 2K. It's all about helping to leverage the power of excellence in sport to help Canadians become more active, get involved in their communities, and make us a stronger, more united country.
And how successful has Own the Podium been for athletes and for Canada as a country competing at these levels that you've described?
Since really having an impact in 2010, Canada has continued to improve on our medal haul. Our best ever performance in the Summer Olympic Games was in Tokyo, so that was fantastic. We were at the Beijing Winter Olympic Games. We had our second best ever performance, second only to our performance in Pyeongchang in 2018. Here we are in the middle of the Beijing Winter Paralympic Games, again on track for a terrific performance. Every one of our performances at these games inspires Canadians in so many different ways.
And it inspires, as you said, different demographics, and we saw a wonderful story here in Ottawa about some young people who created this bobsled out of snow, and they were having some fun with it, and it went viral. Maybe you can share a bit of this story, Anne, for those people not familiar.
Yeah, for sure. What better example of the power of sport than this story in the middle of or just after the Olympic Winter Games, where some young people who live on the same street that Cody Sorensen grew up in. Cody was a member of Canada's bobsleigh team in Beijing. And here they are in front of Cody's house that he grew up in, where his father was an Olympian as well, Ole Sorensen. They watched Cody and Mike perform in the bobsleigh competition in Beijing. And they said, you know what, let's create our own mini bobsleigh. And they created this out of snow with food coloring, really trying to, embrace what they witnessed. These two young bobsledders actually came to the street and and hung out with these young boys and girls, and they will now be inspired to become more physically active, to pursue their own sport, and to pursue their own performance objective in sport. So it's a terrific example of the power of sport.
And your biggest piece of advice you give to people about getting active, what would it be?
Well, my one piece of advice would be the biggest failure is not to try. We won't be perfect at what we venture into, but the biggest failure is not to try. Take risks, be brave, be courageous, and have some fun.
And as I mentioned off the top, I'm a huge curling fan, fell in love with the sport. So to speak with you today and find out that your father is still curling at the same club I curl at is such an exciting moment for me. Really, really happy to have you on the show today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Derek.
All right, take care. Don't go away. Coming up after the break, we'll tell you about a great fundraiser, not just a day fundraiser, a full month-long fundraiser coming up after this.